Hello, Graham. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm keeping well, thank you. May
Good.
I start by asking you about events in Paris on Tuesday night? Players of both sides, PSG and Istanbul, Shahir walks off the pitch after the fourth official made an alleged racist comment towards assistant coach Pierre Webo. What did you make of what happened? What was your reaction to it?
Well, I would say sadness initially. As you say, it's an alleged incident, so I don't really know the full story and what's actually happened. But if there are if the allegations are correct and he's made a racial comment, then it's sad, and I applaud both teams for taking the stance they did.
Do you think that what happened has, and the strong action that they took, given the fact that it was in an elite competition, has really almost reached the tipping point to say that we've got to do something about this?
I don't necessarily think it's a. I don't think it's a tipping point necessarily. I think it's just something that we have to discuss. We have to understand more. We have to be educated more. I think we have to understand that it's a society as well as a football problem. As I said, I don't know the full story. I don't know what actually was said, the context was said, the language was used. I have no idea. But there are obviously serious allegations, and it just reinforces the fact that, unfortunately, this is the world we live in to a certain extent. There is prejudice. It's not the most kindest world. I think we can be kinder as a society to each other, and it's something that maybe football can take a lead on, because as much as society has problems, football has its own, if you like, culture and climate. So maybe we can take that lead.
If there was an allegation of racism and you were manager of one of the two teams, Graham, would you back the players walking off and the abandonment of the game?
Yeah, without being there myself, it's an allegation. I think you've got to be careful, but at the same time, yeah, if it's that serious and the players, if it's been there, then I think it's a strong action from certainly the people. If it's amongst people within the game, either the referee, the fourth official, the player to player, the coaches. I mean, sometimes unfortunately, there's racist shouts from the crowd. That can happen. You hear that. Unfortunately, that's evident as well across football, because, like I said, the problems within society, not just in football. But certainly within football, I think we've got a duty to take a strong action, to educate ourselves, to have a better understanding of life, of the differences that are there, and to understand how history has shaped our present. And then, yeah, if there's strong action that's needed, then why not?
So just to reiterate there, you would support your players if they wanted to walk off the pitch, if they felt that way about it?
Always, yeah.
Thank you, Graham. Thanks for that. Just getting back to more footballing matters, you were incredibly cool and calm in your post-match interviews after the Southampton game. Now you've had a few days to reflect on the penalty incident, the VAR overruling and awarding a penalty against a Solly March. What are your thoughts on it?
I think it's an incorrect decision. I think the first foul, you only have to look at the Southampton players to see when the referee gave the initial free kick that everybody saw that the first contact is outside the box. I think the debate or the decision is whether there was a second foul, and that's what the referee, I think, probably should have looked at the monitor for, because the first foul is outside the box, and then the decision is whether there's a second foul. I don't think there is, but I think they got it wrong. But at the same time, as I always say, they won't be the only ones getting things wrong. Coaches get things wrong, and so do players, and even journalists occasionally, you know. So we're all human beings. That's how it is.
More than occasionally for journalists.
And for coaches.
Just on that, have you checked for any validation from a PGMOL following Monday? Any clarification? Have you sought any clarification on that?
Yeah, we've got the report back, and I think they would agree with me, is what I understand. So it doesn't necessarily change anything. It's, as I've said before, like life sometimes isn't fair. You have to deal with it. After the game, I can shout and I can scream and I can do whatever, but it doesn't change the fact that we lost the game 2-1, like I said, by a small margin, literally a very, very small margin. And at the same time, I thought that our performance wasn't as good as what we would like it to be. So I would choose to focus on that and try to improve that. Was my sort of thoughts after the game.
On a slightly sort of more positive note, Leicester last season was the game in which a young Tariq Lamptey made his debut for Brighton. How surprised and how pleased are you with his progress and his development, Graham? And what do you think he's learned since June the 23rd as a player?
Yeah, the context of that game as well. You know, I think we just beaten Arsenal, so we were still, you know, very, very much in a relegation fight. So to put a young guy like Tariq into that situation was a little bit nerve-wracking. I'm not going to lie, because you know the importance of it, and if it doesn't go well, of course, you know that it can look like a strange decision. But we believed in him, we believed in his quality, we believed in his attributes, his personality, and I think that's a big thing for us to put him in. And that says a lot about what we thought about his temperament, I would say. Since then, I think he's been fantastic. He's not the finished article. He's got a lot to do, but he's still influence games at our level in a really good way. And I think he'll get better and better.
Just one more from me, Graham. Can I just ask? There's been some suggestions in the media about Shane Duffy's future at Celtic. I know it's a season-long loan from Brighton to Celtic, but there has been a suggestion that might come to an end in January. Is there a possibility that might happen?
No, it's a season-long loan. That's how it's been from the start. That's how we see it. I think in a season you're going to get ups and downs, and I think it's a bit of a challenging situation at the moment, but knowing Shane, he's a fighter. He's a good character. He'll come through. He'll have something to prove, and I'm sure that he can get back to being the player that he'll want to be, and everyone knows he can be.
Thank you, Graham. That's great. Best of luck on Sunday. Thank you.
Cheers.
Hi there, Graham. You mentioned about not being happy with the performance on Monday against Southampton, but it seemed, again, it was a performance that you perhaps should have got a point or more from. Is that ongoing trend affecting the squad at all?
No, I think you're right. When I talk about the performance, it's not just the players, myself. You know, I analysed myself first, and I wasn't. You know, I think I can do better as well. I think when you look at the game, it's an even game in terms of chances. We're probably ahead over the course of the 90 minutes. But if we're being honest, it was a performance that we didn't like as much as maybe they would like. At the same time, you see the reaction of Southampton at the end of the game. They know they've been in a game. It's a tough game. It's probably a 1-1 match. But again, a controversial decision turns it in their favour. That's life. But if we're being honest and we want to try and improve and we want to try and lift ourselves in terms of results, we have to look at how we can improve, and that's what we've been doing.
And is it a lot easier to be positive because of the chances you're creating? Presumably, it would be a lot tougher to turn things around if you weren't creating chances.
Yeah, I think if you're if you're losing 3-0 and you haven't had a shot, and it's a one-sided game, and you're thinking, how do we get that win? Then of course it's a tough first situation, but as you said, I think we're creating some chances. We're not exactly giving loads of chances away. The 2 goals are disappointing for different reasons. So we have to just focus on the things that we've done well, and then also look really at how we can go forward and improve, because that's also important for us.
How about your opponents this weekend? Leicester had a great run before the international break. What have you made of them since then?
Well, they've had a lot of football, a lot of games. I think the Europa League can challenge you, but what I see is a team like last year in terms of attacking quality, attacking threat, can play in the build-up phase, good possession, but can also attack very quickly. They defend well as a team. They've obviously suffered from a few injuries, which can happen as well, which destabilises, but generally there's a really high level of performance reflected in where they are in the league. So, again, good challenge for us, good test. We look forward to the game.
What's your team news going into it? Any update on Adam Lallana? Or?
No, Adam's still going to be... the game's going to come, I think, too soon for Adam. Apart from that, we had no fresh problems from the game, so pretty much the squad that we had.
And the game there last year, Kasper Schmeichel saved a penalty, and he has a bit of a habit of doing that against Brighton. How confident are you with your penalties now, with Pascal coming back and scoring in back-to-back games? Yeah,
it's good for Pascal. I must admit the penalties I was never so good at, so I know that the pressure is on, and the goalkeeper has a bit of a free hit, if you like. But I have a lot of respect for whoever takes the penalties, and the guys have been practicing, but nothing can replicate that moment. But if we get one, let's hope it's a clear one and an obvious one, and then we can score.
Good luck, Graham. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi there, Graham. Just to confirm then, if Neil Maupay was on the pitch with Pascal, would Pascal take precedence, or did you leave that up to the players?
No, we would decide that beforehand. I think it just stops that conversation. And I think because Pascal, in fairness to him, has scored the last 2, so I think he's earned that responsibility.
I mean, you've had an impressive 9 different goal scorers this season. Is it time that those centre-backs join the party now?
It'd be nice. We had a couple of opportunities. They'll probably think we had a couple of opportunities the other night from some wide free kick. But we're sort of working on that as well and practicing. But it's important that everybody chips in, I think, and then obviously if we can increase the goals to the guys at the top end of the pitch, that also helps.
Yeah. And in terms of Leicester, how impressed are you about the way that they've pushed the sort of established top sides? I know they've had money behind them, obviously, as well, and they're battling on 2 different fronts. But how impressive is it that they are where they are compared to maybe the more established top sides?
Yeah, we forget, or we shouldn't forget, but the Premier League, they were Premier League champions not so long ago, and an amazing story. And I think that they've built from that, and an incredible legacy from the owner, and I think a really good head coach appointment in Brendan. I think he brings an experience and a quality and a know-how, and already added to that, a really talented group of players. I think recruitment-wise, they've done well. So it seems to be a club that is moving forward, moving in the right direction. I think they sell players at the right time for the right price, and they bring ones in to replace them. So they do it well. They do it really well.
Lovely, thanks, Graham.
Cheers.
Hi Graham, just a quick couple of ones if I can. Is anyone on the squad? Any more news on Popper and McAllister? Are they any further along in recovery, or still about the same?
No, they've been training, so they're in a stronger position now. So that's good for us. Been training all week, and they're closer to the squad.
just looking at the fixtures you've got coming up, is this one almost a free hit going to one of the top 6 sides, rather than when you're looking further ahead to against Fulham and Sheffield, the teams directly around you?
Well, I think you can make a mistake if you think in those terms, to be honest. I think you've got to just approach every game as if it's the main game. You've got to try and look at it as if it's an opportunity to win. It's an opportunity also, if you don't do things well, that you can lose. And I think that's the case in any Premier League game, regardless of who you play. So you have to go with the ambition and always understanding what the opposition can do and having that humility about how you play yourself. And then just focus all your attention on the next match. Don't worry about what's ahead and whether the league table perceives that that's going to be easier or not. It's a Premier League game. They're all really tough.
So you wouldn't be expecting the next 2 to be any more difficult than the challenge you're facing up at Leicester. That's the kind of mindset you're going into the Christmas fixtures with. Yeah,
I think so. I think every game we have the same approach, the same mentality. Every game is difficult. Every game, if you don't do things well, you can lose. So and there's always an opportunity on a football pitch, and that has always been our mentality. Let's give every opposition the respect. And let's just do our best and focus on the next match ahead.
And we've got, when the clock ticks over and we're going to 2021, we're going to the transfer window open again. Are you expecting that's going to be a busy one for Brighton? Or are you happy with the makeup of the squad? Do you still think there's a few areas where you maybe need to bring in a bit of extra cover, or with you've got the guys coming back, whether that gives you enough strength in depth?
Yeah, I think we've got a strong enough squad. I always say, I think in every window there's a responsibility to look to see if there's a possibility to strengthen the group, to make those adjustments if you can, if possible. But January, I think, is notoriously not an easy market to work in, so you have to accept that, especially with the current situation and the recent situation we've had around lockdown and around no crowds, etc. So loads of factors. My job as the head coach is to make sure that the guys that we have are ready to play. We've got a really important period coming up and a lot of games, so that's the main focus for me.